Hello and welcome back to Aetheral Space 7.19 Open Sesame. We are back. Hello, Darnell.
Hello,
Have you been playing any video games this week? I know you're not much of a gamer, but...
Well, we'll just say it real quick, because we're here for Aetheral Space, but obviously, if you have not been living under a rock, Tan and I have been absolutely obsessed with Elden Ring, and we've been running around the last few hours because Havoc Moon got canceled, just like killing bosses and finding random bullshit, and it's just, there's so much to the game that I can't... On one hand, I don't want to describe it because I don't want to spoil anything, but also I wouldn't even know where to begin to describe it.
I killed so many bosses.
The game should not
exist. The Crucible Knight, he was easy. I was able to kill him one try.
The Crucible Knight did not stress Tan out at all, and he did not yell at me. He was very kind and calm.
The helmet came off, it was Darnell underneath.
I will say, who do you think would win in a fight? The Abyssal Knight from Aetheral Space or the Crucible Knight? Be honest.
Abyssal Knight. He could do some crazy bullshit.
So now I know the Abyssal Knight's some real shit. The Abyssal Knight, you know that move the skeletons in Elden Ring do where they jump up and spin and slash?
Yeah.
The Abyssal Knight does that, but he cleaves reality.
Exactly.
Alright, we're here to read Aetheral Space. Do you want to give a quick recap on what happened last time?
So, they got to the tower with the Silver Vision system and managed to send the message to all the family members. But this, of course, was part of Cot's plan, or deceit in this case. But then they figured out deceit and put him into a jellyfish. And now everyone's on their way to kick his ass.
So, real quick, this first sentence, did we already know his name, or is this new information?
I believe it's been mentioned, so it's not like a big deal, that's just his first name.
Okay. Asmodius Fix picked through the situation in his head with all the delicacy of a clockmaker. He'd been framed for the murder of his employer, Jacques Oliphant Escoffier, using the framework of the Hunter game as evidence, the reward deposited into his account incriminating him further. Dragon Hadrian was working hard to clear his name, but that only put the boy in danger as well. I have a question. I'm so sorry to interrupt this.
Yeah.
Is there a social security number system in Aetheral Space?
Yes.
Okay. How does it work? Between like all the federations and all the galaxies?
Well, it's different. There's not much crossover between Supremacy and UAP in this case.
Okay.
Because they are like enemies.
Gotcha. And Fix is from the UAP or from the Supremacy?
Supremacy, but everyone here is from Supremacy.
Okay. With everything happening, the Oliphant clan was in chaos, scattered to the four winds. They'd abandoned this place, leaving just the two of them. Fix glanced up at Moss, the man guarding his cell. He was pacing back and forth outside, occasionally cursing, his eyes barely ever leaving the script he held in his hands. Bad need, clearly.
Bad news, that should be, actually.
Fuck, what? Bad news, clearly. God, I'm trying to remember Fix's voice. It was like gravelly, right?
Yeah.
Something wrong? Fix asked, his voice dry from lack of water.
Something wrong, smooth skin.
Moss? I thought that was his voice.
Yeah, that is. I just remember because I made that joke I think of last time.
Smooth skin. Moss did not reply. Unsurprising, he was in a state of stress from this chaotic situation. However, Fix had no choice but to persist. I heard gunshots from above, Fix continued, his gaze cast up at the ceiling. They've now stopped?
Yeah.
They've now stopped, but nobody has come down to inform you of the situation. Would you like to hear my opinion? Wouldn't most people say they've stopped now? They've now stopped. Okay. Would you like to hear my opinion? Moss looked up from the script, glaring intensely at Fix. He'd never been overly fond of his professional rival, and with everything happening, that contempt seemed to be magnified. No! He all but spat. No, I don't want to hear your damn opinion! Fix closed his eyes. Unfortunate. My opinion. Unfortunately, fuck you. Unfortunate. My opinion's that the Oliphant clan have chosen to prioritize their own safety and abandon this location, along with whatever employees have remained loyal. You, however, have been left behind. Not listening, Moss muttered, tapping away at his script. The obvious explanation for this is that they've forgotten about you, down here, in the chaos of their escape. I believe the popular saying is, out of sight, out of mind. However, I find this unlikely. You're guarding the man they believe they killed their brother, after all. Fix ignored... Wait, Moss's eyes narrowed. Might be executing him, too, if you don't shut your trap. Fix ignored the threat. I find it far more likely that they've simply performed the equations and decided that putting in the effort to retrieve you is not worth the expenditure of that effort. In short, you're an acceptable loss. In a blur of movement, Moss ripped his plasma pistol from its holster and pointed it right at Fix's forehead, reaching right through the bars. Bound by Neverwire as he was, Fix had no way of defending himself. Instead, he slowly blinked up at the gun. This will not improve your situation, he calmly warned Moss. It'll make me feel a whole lot better without you droning on, Moss snarled, flicking off the safety. Do wonders for my mental health. Perhaps, Fix conceded, but it'll do more harm to you in the long run. If you release me, it will be the two of us against whatever enemies are still lurking in this place. Can Fix actually fight?
Yeah.
I was using that to get a drink of water. I thought you would say more than one word. You know I'm adept, and I know you're adept. At the very least, we can trust in each other's abilities. If you kill me, however, all you're doing is ensuring you have to fight alone. Dude, I would not trust the guy that raised your gun to not backstab someone. I'm just saying, would not at all trust him. Moss's finger hovered over the trigger. You're sounding like you have a plan. Correct. I screened this location for Jacques before we came here. I believe I know a way out that'll avoid our enemies entirely. In what way is that? Fix shook his head, holding up his arms bound in Neverwire. I'd be foolish to tell you that while I'm still at your mercy. Release me, and I'll inform you of the plan as we execute it. Moss licked his lips nervously as the glare in his eyes intensified. He still had that gun stuck between the bars of the cell, tracking Fix's forehead. Maybe, he said slowly, danger lurking under every syllable. I can just get those answers out of you. No, you can't. Moss raised an eyebrow. You underestimating me, asshole, he whispered, deathly quiet. Not at all. There are reasons you wouldn't be able to torture information out of me. Just from looking at me, you can see that I'm a scurrant, a combat type. What does Fix look like again? Didn't he have, like, gray skin or something?
Grey, craggly skin.
Can you describe him a little bit so I can drink water?
He's, like, pretty stocky, but he's also big. He's like Kingpin, but not as big, and with grey, craggly skin.
Okay, and he's a pugnant.
Scrunt.
Oh, no, I read ahead in the wrong way. The Gene Tyrant who designed my people wanted to create something that surpassed ordinary pug... Wait, does this imply he's like a small mini subrace?
Well, Scurrants are all like mini subraces.
Yeah, but usually I thought they were like one-offs. I didn't know there were like whole groups.
Yeah, there's like mini groups.
Okay. That surpassed ordinary pugnance, and he went somewhat overboard. I have 5 working hearts, a secondary brain to store memories in, and my natural lifespan, so long as I live healthily, is around 200 years. You bragging or something? A thin, humorless smile spread over Fix's rock-like face. So are those like backup hearts, or are they all necessary? Because I actually feel like needing 5 hearts to work would be a disadvantage.
They're backup hearts.
Okay. Perhaps more pertinently, I can disable my sense of pain at will. You can mutilate me as much as you like, but it will not loosen my lips. So wait, this is clearly a superior pugnant. Why didn't pugnants just copy this dude?
Well, we can't go all the way back to the Gene Tyrant politics, but pugnants were already a thing at the time, and it's a matter of this takes more work to make than an ordinary pugnant, so...
Okay. Can they breed and create more of themselves?
Yeah.
Okay, so they are like pugnants as well in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I doubt you have the time for that anyway. They'll be searching the building. How much longer do you intend to endanger yourself for? If he's so fucking strong, why doesn't he break the goddamn bars, Mr. Gigapugnant? Tell me that, Tan.
Well, it's Neverwire, it's strong stuff.
Moss swallowed, his grip on the gun wavering slightly. Anything funny and I shoot you right then and there, got it? This guy just told you he has 5 hearts and 2 brains. And you're like, I'll just shoot you. I fucking hate Moss. Why is he so stupid?
He's a stupid...
Sorry. Of course, I'd expect nothing less. As quickly as it had come out, the pistol returned to Moss's holster. And a second later, he scanned his security card to open the cell. Fix slowly stood up, careful not to agitate his captor, and held out his bound arms. I'll be of more use if I can use Aether, Fix said seriously. If I remain bound, I'm a detriment rather than a help. I really regret giving him this voice.
Moss hesitated for only a moment before acquiescing, sawing through Fix's Neverwire restraints with a disintegrator knife he had on his person. As Fix stood up, he massaged his aching wrists. "Well," Moss demanded, "what's the plan?"
"All in good time,"
Fix grunted, crouching back down and retrieving the spools of Neverwire from where they'd landed on the floor.
"But we'll need these."
He tossed them over to Moss, who fumbled to catch them, gripping them tight in his hands. "Oh yeah," he scoffed. "And what are these supposed to—" Fix reached over and snapped his neck. "What did you expect?" What did he expect, Tan?
He's a dumbass.
How do you feel knowing you're on the same level as Marvel writers?
What the fuck? Who is this guy?
Tell me.
What do you mean?
Marvel writers be like, we know this guy's going to betray us. He always betrays us. He can clearly betray us. No, it'll be this different this time. Oh no, he betrayed me! How could it be?
I don't know who
Every fucking Marvel movie and show. Is that what this is?
Darnell's being pretty toxic right now. I don't know what's going on.
I'm sorry. I'm raging because it was so obvious. The guy even was like, by the way, I'm basically unkillable. And he was like, I'll let you out. I've got a pistol. That'll do something against an Aether user.
Well, he's also an Aether, so... That's why he had to make him catch the Neverwire so he couldn't use his Aether to defend himself.
Dude, Moss is a fucking idiot.
Was a fucking idiot.
Bruh.
Sorry, I needed the runes.
Thump. Moss's lifeless body hit the floor like a sack of potatoes, and after retrieving the security card, Fix sent it back into the cell with a methodical kick. Moss wasn't a reliable partner for such an endeavor. Despite what he'd said, there was a good chance he would have betrayed Fix the moment it became convenient. He wouldn't gamble with those odds. The building was quiet as Fix made his way up the stairs out of the basement, treading as lightly as he could with his considerable frame. In the distance, he could hear gunshots, but they weren't so close that he had reason to be concerned. Light slithered in from underneath the closed door at the head of the stairs, and Fix took a deep breath as he reached them. He carefully opened the door, revealing the hallway beyond. Gore dripped from the ceiling. Every inch of the hallway beyond was utterly covered in blood, entrails, and shredded skin. It ran down the windows, it soaked into the wallpaper, it pooled over the carpets. Oh my god, this is a Dark Souls boss. As he took that first step into the massacre's territory, Fix narrowly avoided stepping on a discarded eye. It stared up at him, still dilated in terror. I need a voice, because I can see there's a guy coming up. I need a voice. Give me a hint.
Maybe like a distorted
Hello?
Mickey Mouse?
You know distortion is something that's added in post and not something
I just
that you
mean
can...
like a weird Mickey Mouse.
What? Hello? No. I don't know.
I mean, that's what that sing-song sort of thing is what I mean.
The cause of this brutality was obvious. It was standing right in the middle of the hallway with a videograph monitor covering its head. I'm just going to go Souls NPC. King, smile, it said, voice distorted by the speakers. It raised its arms to either side as if to show off its good work. Aether, like the fizzling static of a lost signal, buzzed around its arms. Fix took a deep breath as he observed the threat. He'd made it his business to familiarize himself with people like King Smile. Jacques was always in need of additional muscle, and people like this creature were known for their efficacy. However, it had ultimately been decided that King Smile was far too unpredictable to be trusted, and thus the offer had been retracted. Had it held a grudge over that? Was it the sort of thing that held grudges? King, it repeated, cocking its massive head to the side. Smile! It's all me! The words were mismatched, each taken from a different recording and strung together into sentences only half coherent. It spoke in ransom notes. Oh, that's a good fucking line. I like that. Fix hovered in the doorway. Under ordinary conditions, he'd be fairly confident that he could at least escape a maniac like this. But his time in confinement hadn't done him well. His body was still exhausted, muscles aching, his quintuplet heartbeat like a concert of drums. His eyes flicked over to the blood-stained window. He could throw himself out there to escape if it came down to it, but as he was now, would he survive that fall intact? Would King Smile follow? Hold still, King Smile commanded, stepping forward, arms pumping exaggeratedly as it walked. Let's do it! Let's make a mess! His natural defenses would be no match against this thing. Fix had read the files. King Smile made no attempt to hide its Aether ability. Essentially, it was the opposite of aether infusion. It weakened things rather than strengthening them. Ooh, aether drainage. Ooh. So what is he? They keep referring to him as a thing. Is he a scurrant? Is he like a literal construct?
He's a weirdo. No one knows. He just, I have a TV on his head.
Against an infused fist and that ability, Fix's hardened skin would be as effective as wet cardboard. Wait! Fix barked at the approaching enemy. King's smile did not wait. It was upon Fix in the moment, hands ready to claw through his stomach, weakening the air resistance around itself to increase its own speed. In the same moment, earth-brown aether coalesced around Fix's hand, and with a swipe of his own arm, he activated his ability. Boulder Forge. King Smile's attack was blocked. The space Fix had swiped its hand through was now filled with floating stone, fixed in the air, forming a barrier between himself and Smile. Oh, he's kind of like the opposite of Okuyasu.
Yeah, exactly.
Before Smile could switch the target of its weakening and break through, Fix made his move, holding his hand down in front of him to form a path of... Oh, that's so cool! He's like a fucking Minecraft player.
Exactly, yes.
To form a path of floating stone, running along it even as he created it to escape the maniac. The path he was creating was about 3 meters in the air, outside of the reach of most people. But Fix wasn't stupid enough to think that King Smile was most people. Behind himself, he heard stone shatter as Smile broke free from the barrier. Without missing a trick, Fix dropped down from his makeshift escape route back onto the carpeted floor. If he had dodged even a second later, he would have been dead. King Smile zoomed through the space Fix had just been occupying, floating leisurely through the air as it weakened the effects of gravity on his body. The grin on its videograph screen flickered as it looked back down at Fix. Slippery kids all day time! Its speakers blared as he dropped down to the ground. Not even brakes can get away from this one! Fix didn't quite understand what that meant, but from its hunched posture, it was clear to see that another deadly attack was coming. Hey, Every! It roared, static flaring across its screen. Let's do it! He would not survive this if he persisted in trying to escape. When predators saw a fleeing animal, it only made them pursue harder. He'd have to take a different tact. I don't expect someone like you to have pity or compassion, Fix said seriously, but I hope you understand the principle of mutual gain. Smile cocked its monitor again, the hefty weight of it creaking as it moved. Fix was surprised it didn't break its own neck going on like that. You're! It declared. What did that mean? Was it interested? Fix decided to press on as though it was. If he was wrong, he wouldn't have time to regret it. I have 100,000 stater in my account, he said slowly, making sure to keep a constant distance between himself and Smile. It was given to me for the death of Jacques Oliphant Escoffier. As I'm suspected of killing him, I have no doubt been expelled from the Oliphant clan's service. From what I understand, there's no reward in that hunter game for ex-employees. He took a deep breath. Effectively, there's 2 conclusions to this situation. You kill me, and you receive momentary satisfaction, but nothing else. You let me live, however, and you receive 100,000 stater. You can earn such a hefty sum simply by doing nothing. It's a good deal. Money saving! Smile mocked. That's! It took a step forward, carpet crumbling beneath its dress shoes. That's not all, Fix lied. As I said, I'm an ex-employee of the Oliphant clan now. I have information that can be of assistance to you. The places they would take shelter in a situation such as this. Their powers, their weaknesses. You seem an intelligent man? I'm sure you understand how valuable such information could be. Smile paused, grinding its heels into the floorboards, steam rising up as the wood disintegrated. It seemed to be wavering between its desire to kill and its desire to make money. Even this thing hungered for money, after all. Salivating with the greed of a beast! Thanks for coming to Aetheral Space, guys. This has been the chapter 7.19. I hope you liked it. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
When someone says Aetheral Space in the story, I sleep. When someone says the greed of a beast, real shit.
No one said the Aetheral Space in a story.
Maybe they did, you didn't notice. No, they haven't.
I did notice. Money now! It demanded. Big savings all around! Fix shook his head slowly, as calmly as he could, so as not to agitate the killer. Half now, he corrected, reaching for a script. Then I give you the information you want. Then the other half of the money in 24 hours. Once I'm safely away... I assume away from here.
Oh, yeah.
Safely aware from here. is what you wrote, but that's okay. Not everyone can be a good author. He blinked.
Do we have a deal?
How are you feeling right now?
Good.
Nice. Do you want to read the rest? Because my throat is destroyed.
Sure. Scout and Chloe swung around as they heard the thundering footsteps from the entrance, but there was no need for fear. The man who bounded into the chamber, arms ready wide for a hug, was no assassin. It was Roy Oliphant Dawkins, his face spread into a wide grin. "Ah, you guys!" he roared, sweeping them both off their feet and pulling them tight. "How you doing? You keeping safe?" Chloe choked out something incoherent. Scout only nodded. A second later, they'd been dropped down to the floor as suddenly as they'd been picked up. "You did good," smiled Roy, ruffling his son's hair as he stepped past him. His gaze turned to midnight disobedience and the human silhouette visible floating in it. "Who's this?" "The guy that was with us," Scout explained. "Turns out it was one of the assassins or something, so we tied him up." Roy scratched his nose, looking the indistinct figure up and down. "Why didn't you just kill him?" Chloe crossed her arms as she answered. "I'm not sure we can kill him. I think he's an Aether construct, not an actual person. He doesn't feel pain at all. I was hoping we could get some information out of him about the Hunter game." With a frown, Roy ran his hands through his chaotic mane of hair. He clicked his tongue. "Well, he can't feel pain. How are you supposed to get anything out of him? You can't exactly torture someone if they can't feel it." Chloe sighed, and that moment the maturity she'd adopted over the last few hours seemed to drain away a little. "You can't do anything?" she asked meekly. "Well, I haven't tried to use Save the Day yet today," Roy said. "But I don't think we'll be lucky enough to have an interrogation power. I can try it, I'm just being realistic, you know."
Is his power like the fucking Mickey Mouse clubhouse tool? Is that what that is, Tan?
Maybe we'll find out more today.
Where he gotchas a random power that is helpful in some way?
Right.
What do you mean find out? He basically implied that.
Well, we can wait for everyone else to... "Scout! Chloe!" Another voice called out from the darkened hallway, and as they turned to look, Rico emerged from the shade, panting with his hands up. He'd clearly been going through it the last few hours, his hair rough with sweat, his clothes covered in cuts and stains. He put his hands to his knees as he struggled to catch his breath. He wasn't alone. 3 other figures emerged from the darkness behind him. 2 of them Chloe didn't know, 2 girls, one with red hair and the other blonde. But the third of them was eminently familiar. Chloe's eyes lit up as she saw her favourite cousin. "Keiko!" she cried, running forward. "What are you doing here?" Keiko didn't answer straight away, her eye flicking through the room cautiously. "Is he here?" she demanded. "The third person from your message." "She already knew about Lionel?" "We've got him captured here," she indicated, turning to point at midnight disobedience, only to stop in her tracks as the light shifted and she saw the expression of the young man inside. His eyes wide with terror and rage, staring at the blonde girl. His teeth bared with the instinctual fury of a wild animal. His lips moving, forming a single word. Monophobia. And with that, the world exploded into light.
Was he making a new personality from himself?
What could this mean? Well, we know it's Deceit specifically that's been out here doing stuff, so Deceit is the one who used
I know, but remember, Deceit also implied he wanted to throw the original Cot. So does he know the ability as well?
Well, let's find out. Well, maybe we'll find out more next time.
What do you... Okay. Alright, guys, thanks for watching Aetheral Space 7.19. We'll see you in Aetheral Space 7.20. Bye!
Bye!